Welcome to another episode of Pathetic, the podcast. We have a show tonight, just myself and Jeff. Mikey's tied up. We want to wish happy birthday to Mike's daughter. I think that's what they're out celebrating tonight. But before we even go any further, please like and subscribe. Mike always reminds everybody of that. Like, subscribe, tell your friends, whatever you need to do. Jeff, it's a Monday night. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. We had our first week of the NFL kind of back. I wouldn't say back fully because it's the preseason, but, it's the optics of seeing football on the TV again. So it was a good weekend, at least watching a little bit of preseason football, which is really like non-alcoholic beer when you think about it. But
That's a great
it's still,
line.
it's still good to see football back. So, the regular season will be here before we know it.
It really is good to see it back. And, and I kind of fool around all the time. I always mention Canadian Football League, which I do watch some of, but I've already in one weekend watched more NFL exhibition games than I did of Canadian football in the first 8 weeks. So, so it's
it's just like I said, it's like seeing the optics of, as a Giant fan, seeing Jackson Dart back out there for you. Gets to this, I'm sure, seeing Cade Klubnik play and start. So it's just, it's good to have it back, and I'm excited. I'm really excited for this season. It should be interesting for both teams.
Well, before we get to them, let's do 5 minutes, maybe less even, on baseball, because I mean that's where we're at right now. Your Yankees. I'll tell you the truth. To me, I think what they've shown over the last few weeks, they take 2 out of 3 from Atlanta, and then they lose 2 out of 3 to Toronto.
Yep.
And I'll tell you now, I think if they don't get Bellinger and Judge back at any semblance of where they were at, I don't see you going far in the playoffs. Even with the pitching, I don't see it.
Well, let's start with the division first, right? I don't see this team winning the division because they can't go on a winning streak without, Judge and Bellinger and Stanton. There's no way they can do it. And the only way they can catch the Rays now is to get at least a 4 to 5 game winning streak. And look, the Yankees aren't playing bad baseball. They're actually playing pretty good, but being 5.5 right now behind the Rays, they need to have a consecutive winning streak. And the only way they're going to do that is if this offense has consecutive days where they're scoring at least 4 to 5 runs, which they never do.
Right.
So, I've already kind of succumbed to the wild card, which it is what it is. And it's not always a bad thing because it kind of gives you momentum at least. You can look at it positively. Mm-hmm. But I actually happen to agree with you, Uncle Ted. I don't think this team is going to make it very far in the playoffs unless Judge comes back and completely lights it up, which that's asking a lot, even from him. He's coming off the injury. I don't think he's going to come back 100% because he's taking a long time just to recover and just have a game of catch.
Yeah.
Right. So I think he'll be fine. I think he'll be good, but it's going to take other guys. We've been talking about this the whole season, and you get you get a little bit of a taste of some guys who, kind of step up to a degree, but look, you mentioned that the pitching, yes, it's very important to have the pitching in the playoffs, but you can't just rely on that. You can't get away with scoring 1 or 2 runs a game in the playoffs, right? Because
exactly.
What's going to happen. The Yankees are going to lose the game 3-2, 4-2, 2-1, like they've been doing in the games they lost. But one thing I'm very excited about, as far as the Yankees go, at least, I can at least hang my hat on if the season doesn't go the way I want it to, is their new addition.
Oh,
this kid is a stud. I mean, their shortstop, Lombard Jr., is clearly going to be good. And I don't like to get wrapped up too deep into, this guy's going to be great. And he's only had a handful of games. But like we talked about with Dart last year, you look for signs. And, this kid so far has shown signs that he's at the very least going to be a consistently good player. So there's some positives.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a really good ball player. It's funny. I was watching the Yankee game yesterday, and I don't know if it was the 8th or the 9th inning. He got a force out at second. Now, I watched it a couple of times, It was just he put his foot on a bag and got the force out. Michael K made it sound like he just made the Willie Mays over the shoulder catch.
Of course.
And I'm like, all right, can we calm down? I agree. This kid, I think this kid is special. I really do.
Yeah.
You look at him, he has no fear at all. And he's smooth as silk, especially in the field. Holy crap. He's so good in the field. And then at the same time, I had to laugh at this, and I'm a fan of his. Anthony Volpe, first at bat, does 2 challenges and is wrong on both. And then he's laughing in the dugout. They said that his teammates are like, what are you doing? What are you doing here?
I know there's this misconception from not just the listeners, but you and Mike too, that I hate Anthony. Maybe not hate, but I don't like. That. I don't even dislike Anthony Volpe. You know, I hope he goes somewhere and does well.
Sure.
But you can see the difference with this kid. I mean, and again, he's obviously very good. He was our number 1 prospect for a reason. You can see it, but you mentioned it in the field. I mean, that's the big one for me because he's going to have his ups and downs hitting. But I think this kid in the field, if you compare it to what we saw from Volpe, you used the right word. He's just smooth. Like he knows exactly where to be. The moment doesn't seem too big for him, even though, I mean, the amount of pressure this kid must have had coming in on his first game, and he looks like he's very comfortable. But the Volpe thing, man, I feel bad for him, and I think he'll go somewhere and do well. Listen, I don't want him to turn into Derek Jeter. That would maybe piss me off a little bit. He won't.
You don't have to worry about that.
I don't have to worry about that, but I hope he has a good career. Like I want to see him do well somewhere else, as long as it doesn't affect us, But and again, as far as the Yankees go, it's right now for me, I'm just really looking at Lombard. I'm excited for him, and listen, you just gotta hope they get hot. And Judge comes back and Bellinger, you gotta hope the whole team is firing on all cylinders. So, listen, they'll make the playoffs like they always do, and we'll see what happens from there.
Yeah, for all you listeners, if you kind of agree with Jeff and myself, or if you disagree, just give us a shout. wizardsoddpodcast@gmail.com. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you think about Lombard. Are you happy to see him? I use the word smooth for Lombard. Okay.
Yeah.
I think I did that intentionally because the word smooth, I think, is going to pertain to a player that I want to bring up right now, and that's Cade Klubnik. If you watched the Jet game Friday night and you found out that Gino was not starting, which I wasn't happy about. I want to see Gino.
Yeah.
But I think that I think if this was a regular season game, Gino would have played. I guarantee you. But when you looked at Cade Klubnik, and I'm not getting overly crazy, if you can tell me he did not look smooth and efficient and a kid who can handle himself, well, you're just lying to yourself because he did. And what was exciting about that was not the fact that he was 5 of 7. And honestly, I wished he had played more. But I get where they're coming from. Listen, we're going to ease him in. Let's take a look and see what he does. But boy, if you looked at this kid, he looked like the kid at Clemson his junior year. And I don't think it's a coincidence that Frank Reich is a tremendous influence on this kid, getting this kid ready. Now, I mean, there wasn't much to compare him to because Bailey Zappi is terrible.
Yeah, you got to move on from him already.
I get the second interception wasn't his fault, but he just looked lost.
Yeah.
Brady Cook, believe me, was it George Steinbrenner years and years ago where he said, we've seen enough of, and I forget who it was, but we've seen enough of Brady Cook. We really have. But I was very happy about it. I liked the way they played. Even if you watched it too, Bailey, our number 2 pick overall, they doubled him and chipped him most of the time he was in there. So they knew this kid is something. But I was very excited. One of our very late round picks from Florida, an offensive guard, did really well. And the guy we got from Vegas, Parnham, did really well. So I'm cautiously optimistic that I think this offense is going to be very interesting, to say the least. And I'm hoping that the defense, the defense can play well. That kid, is it Bamba? The cornerback, he played.
Yeah.
For me to be talking about a kid named Bamba for the Jets right now, it blows my mind. But the kid looks so good.
Yeah.
But, it was. I thought it was great. I thought it was great.
Listen, what I saw from Cade Klubnik was confidence, and I was a little surprised to see that, because all you've heard about Cade Klubnik is he's not that good. They shouldn't have traded whatever that. I forget the exact deal to get him, but like there were a lot of Jet fans that were upset about it, and I didn't really know much about him. I know obviously he had a good first few seasons at Clemson, then last year wasn't good. But what people don't talk about is the situation that he was in at Clemson. It was a catastrophic disaster.
Yep.
The coaching was bad. The talent was bad. The program was bad. So I can't put that all on him. And look, I'm not saying he should definitely start, because it's a little hypocritical, because last year I didn't want Jackson Dart to start right away. But you know what?
Yeah.
That's probably what should have happened, right? Hindsight's always 20/20, but that's just the reality. And let's be honest about Geno here, Uncle Ted. This isn't Aaron Rodgers, where like you have to put him in. This isn't even. I'll go one notch down. This isn't even Russell Wilson, where you're like, can Russell maybe bring it back to what he used to be to transition into Dart? Geno Smith, I got news for you guys. He's not that good. He had one very good season, another decent season, and the rest of his career has been below average. So why not have a little bit of a competition, right? If Cade Klubnik has a really good preseason, I don't see why. Now we know why. It'll be Aaron Glenn who's worried about his job. But just from a football logical standpoint, I don't see why you can't start him right away. Put him in there. And you guys have a good offensive line.
Yeah. Here's what I'll say about that. I don't care how much he outplays Geno in the preseason. Geno has to start game one. Okay? But I do agree with you that if Geno starts game one and we're struggling, or game two or game three, he's struggling, not lighting it up, not doing what he should do, and Klubnik's been good in practice and all. You're right. He's not Aaron Rodgers, Geno Smith, and he's only making $3 million in the year. So it's not like you're replacing him. You're putting Cade Klubnik and replacing a $26 million quarterback. So, yeah, and the other thing, to me, the most important thing, more important than finding out, is Aaron Glenn the guy? Can he come back? Because I have a feeling that he's going to be okay. But you got to know what Cade Klubnik is. Because you've got 3 number 1 picks next year. Now, even if he's lights out, you may still draft a quarterback. Who knows? But you got to know what he is. You got to. So at some point, he's going to play. And I honestly believe at some point, he's going to surprise a lot of people. Because I'll tell you this. I was much higher on Cade Klubnik than I was on Drake May. And I'm honest when I say that. Because you know how I felt about Drake May coming out.
Yes.
I was like, I think he might be okay, but I don't know. And by no means am I a quarterback guru. But I will tell you, I would love to see Cade get a shot. I mean, nothing bothers this kid. Even in the press conference afterward, he was pretty sweet. I think he said something about being excited, and he goes something about no big deal. The people who came, well, he goes, my wife was here, so it was a big deal. I'm sorry about that. He goes, it was pretty funny.
Yeah. He seems comfortable, like I said in the press conference too.
Yeah.
Like you alluded to. That's part of the game too, especially in New York. Like you got to be comfortable. I don't care how good you are. If you're not comfortable in the press conferences and in the media and with the fans, that's going to translate on the field. And you know what's so funny, Uncle Ted, and we haven't said this in a long time, but I feel like the Jets are actually a good team for a rookie quarterback to go to right now. From an offense, I'm not talking about from a coaching standpoint. I like Frank Reich a lot. Just isolating the team itself, the offense itself, I should say. They have a great offensive line.
Yep.
They have very good receivers, one great one.
Yep.
They have two stud running backs. I love Brandon Allen. I always did. Always did.
So that run he made the other night, the best thing was he showed you that he's back from that injury.
Yes,
that
exactly.
was the best part about that.
No doubt.
Great.
And listen, for a rookie quarterback, it's actually a very good landing spot right now because of the GM. This GM put together over the past few years, so far, a good offense.
Yeah.
So I know what you're saying. Like, you'd rather see Geno at least game 1 and 2 and maybe even 3. I'm going to tell you, Uncle Teddy, what you told me last year, and you know where I'm going with this.
I know what you're going to say.
I'm going to make you a shirt. Don't be afraid to love.
Yeah.
And for those who've been listening, this is what Uncle Teddy was saying to me all preseason.
Yeah.
All through Russell Wilson's, whatever he had, 4 starts. And you were right. And I think I may be right here. I think you guys got to take that risk and say, do something different, right? Start the kid, even though you didn't think he wasn't going to, he was going to be ready.
Yeah.
That's what I think. But let's see how he does the rest of the way in the preseason. To go from there. It'll
be interesting to see him playing Friday night in Pittsburgh, because even though it is a preseason game, I've watched games in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's a different animal.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, that's legit NFL right there.
Yep.
So even if it's preseason, you put a kid in there, you don't know how they're going to react.
Yeah, there's no suits in that stadium. It's all the rowdy fans, and they don't care that it's preseason. They're showing up and showing out every time.
They're great fans. I am so envious of their situation. But honestly, I'm very upbeat on what's going on with my team. I watched some of the Giants. I didn't see the very beginning. We were in a car driving to a party.
Yep.
What did you think about them? I mean, first preseason game,
Right. It's so hard to analyze and judge a couple of drives, which is really what it was with the starters. So just things I liked and things I didn't like. I'll give you a few. And again, this is like the nitpicking of all nitpicking on both sides. I'm just literally grasping at straws.
Yeah.
I know we make fun of this kid, Uncle Ted, and I do it too, probably just as much as you. But Cam Scatterbo is a good running back. And we have to admit that. As crazy as he is, and I know, again, it was a small sample size, but he averaged 5 yards a carry in that game.
I agree with you.
And listen, the way he runs, right? He always gets that extra 2 or 3 yards, which as well as anybody. You've been watching football forever. That running back that can give you that extra 2 to 3 yards can make a difference in a game. Literally make a difference in a game.
Yeah.
So I love what I saw from him. As far as Jackson Dart goes, again, very small sample size. But he looked good. That pass to Malachi Fields in the end zone was an absolute dime. And that's what we have seen from him. He likes throwing that ball. He escapes, he boots out, and he finds a guy that high passing coverage to make a reception. And that leads me into the third thing I liked, which was Malachi Fields. I said this when they drafted him.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you it's going to be a Plaxico Burress 2.0, but he has the frame. I don't think he has as good as hands as Burress. That's the issue. Burress had glue on his hands.
But he's a solid receiver.
He's a solid receiver. He's 6'4".
Yeah.
And the Giants haven't had that kind of big body receiver really since Plaxico Burress. They had Brandon Marshall, but that was for, a cup of coffee.
Exactly.
But, it's and again, what Dart does very well, and you know me, man, I watch every play of every game and try to analyze it to the best of my, fan knowledge, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dart is very good at that high throw and coverage. He likes throwing it. He just didn't have that big bodied guy to do it to. So I think he'll have a good year. And then real quick on what I didn't like, the run defense stinks, and that's going to be a serious issue. They can't stop the run. And I think that's why the Giants are being inflated right now, and they're not going to be as good as people think, because that run game, I don't care how good Harbaugh is, he can't buy a run stopper, that's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
So that's an issue that really leaked from last year. And then finally, I don't know how I should look at this, because, the preseason is more of a test run for these teams and the coaches. They're trying things out.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Matt Nagy was way too conservative with Dart. Dart is not a conservative quarterback.
Right.
He's a playmaker. That's what he does.
Yeah.
He's not good at just sitting in the pocket, 5-yard slant, 6-yard out route. He's good at moving. Case in point, the touchdown that he threw, he escaped some trouble, ran to the side, and did some like Patrick Mahomes sidearm to get the ball where it needed to be.
Yeah.
So again, I don't know if Nagy's going to do that during the season, but I didn't like how like nervous he was to use Dart. I think he has to play him more like like the kind of player he is, which is a playmaker.
Well, that could be a problem with Matt Nagy, because in all the places he's been very, like, not the kind of guy that adjusts to his talent.
Yeah.
And that's what's cost him his jobs.
Right.
How great would your Giant defense look if somehow they were able to make a deal for Vita Vea?
It's funny you mentioned that.
I've heard that. I've heard that rumor.
I could see it happening, because you can see that Harbaugh is taking initiative on a lot of things. He brought in Najee Harris after Tyrone Tracy missed that block where Dart got his clock cleaned. All of a sudden, Najee Harris they're interested in him.
I know.
So I think if Harbaugh's watching what we're watching and this run defense is just non-existent, that's a deal I think that they have to make. And it would be a huge, huge upgrade to that defense. I can see that.
Another key is you got to keep Dart out of the blue tent.
I know.
You have to.
That one wasn't his fault, though.
No, absolutely not. But these stupid things happen.
I know.
And one of these days listen, believe me, all these years I've been watching the Jets, how many times we said that really wasn't that guy's fault and the guy's out for the year, crap like that. How about this? Funny instance for the weekend. Jamal Adams makes this huge deal. He wants to come to the Jets. He would be great with the Jets. And then he accepts the deal with Minnesota. Did you see he tore his ACL? He's gone for the year. Now,
I saw that.
I'm not laughing at his injury, but this guy, the black cloud just follows over his head no matter where he goes.
It does.
And
he brings that energy. I mean, he's always been a loudmouth.
Yep.
Just always talking crap. And again, we're not obviously rooting for injury, but the injury is not funny, but the situation is funny. It's interesting because it's just that cloud cannot leave this guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, listen, you're right though, Uncle Teddy. He's Dart, speaking of injury, has to stay out of the blue tent. I heard today, I couldn't believe this, but it actually makes sense if you think about it. Mathematically, Dart has been in the tent every other game of his career so far. So he's had 6 visits to the tent, and he's played 13 games, including yesterday.
Oh.
So, and what's funny is, though, he's only had 1 concussion, right? So it's not like he's going in the tent and he's getting concussed.
Right.
Here's the problem. Here's another issue with Dart that I think brings him to the tent. So Dart is obviously a tough guy. I think we can all agree, right? He's a decent size.
He's
a
beast.
But when he gets hit, it looks bad. Like his body language when he gets hit, not that he's afraid, but his neck goes flying back, his arms go flailing. And so I think the reps and the, upstairs, they see that and they bring it to the tent. So when he got hit yesterday or on Saturday, he was on the ground for 25 seconds because he got the wind knocked out of him. So I think that prompted upstairs to say, check him out, make sure he's good. But if you watch the play, Uncle Teddy, he didn't even hit his head.
No.
There was even on the ground, his head didn't bend. I was more nervous about his ribs or his arm getting hurt.
And you know why he has that reaction? Because he doesn't seem to as he's going to get hit, he doesn't seem to get into his body. He still balls out.
Yeah.
Which he's the Cam Scatterboo of quarterbacks.
He is.
He just balls out. And you love that, but holy crap. You hold your breath every time because you don't want to lose this guy, but
no. And look, those kinds of hits that we saw on Saturday, that's going to happen. That's on Tyrone Tracy 100%. 100%. I can't even see Dart, who typically has very good awareness in the pocket, especially for a young kid. He knows when to sit there, knows when to go. I mean, he didn't even calculate that it was less than 2 seconds when somebody hit him. There was no way for him to he's looking at whoever on the side. I don't know who he was trying to throw to. And before he can even check his strong side, he's already on the ground,
Yeah.
But
I wonder if when some of these quarterbacks, especially the young ones, are in a preseason game, like the first game, I wonder if in their mind they're like, not like it's flag football, but like it's not going to be like the regular season. And then all of a sudden they're lit up, and they're like, "Whoa, what happened here?" I think that's going to make them. I think that's going to make them a little bit smarter the next time he goes in. And honestly, I think that Harbaugh will. He'll get his point across to him about, listen, you're a hell of a lot more valuable when you've got the uniform on and you're playing for us rather than being in the tent or hurt.
Yeah. And listen, sometimes it takes those hits to wake you up too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think we'll see a smarter Dart this year overall, as far as like, we'll still see the aggression as far as trying to get those extra yards or whatever. But last year it was just like, I mean, I don't think he ever ran out of bounds. Maybe once or twice I remember off the top of my head, but there were too many times. And listen, Josh Allen had this problem too. Now obviously Josh Allen's a bigger body. He can withstand the hits, but just from a mindset standpoint, his first year, he was acting crazy too. And, I'm sure coaching plus not wanting to take those hits.
Yeah.
The combination of those two things make you a more intelligent player. And listen, Dart's a smart kid. So I'm not, again, the blue 10 thing is a weird number if you look at it, but I still think, I mean, I don't want to say he'll definitely make it through the season, knock on wood, but I think he'll play smarter. I do.
They should make him watch the video of Carson Wentz that doing the helicopter propeller thing, going into the end zone, getting knocked out, and he was never the same since.
Yeah.
Never the same. And that was just brutal. That really was just brutal.
And that can happen, Uncle Teddy. It could take one hit, even if it doesn't end your career from an injury standpoint. It can end your career from, let's just say, a psychological standpoint, to where you're so tentative now to play the, but it's funny because he's got to find that line, because part of his game and part of why I think he's not great yet, but I think he could be great, is the relatively reckless abandonment that he has on the field. Brett Favre did that. Like, it's just like some of these guys, that's the style they play with. So he's got to find that happy medium of still playing, forward, right? And still trying to get those yards, but also, we need you for all 17 games.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. All right, we're going to come back next week. Mike will be with us next week, and we'll recap the Jet game against Pittsburgh, the Giant game against Miami. So, we'll see. The second game is a weird game because sometimes almost nobody plays.
Yeah.
And third game, I think for sure nobody's going to play. That's especially Jets Giants, because they don't want to really get too emotional. We've seen some crazy Jet Giant preseason games that have got there were a lot of injuries and junk like that. So
and can we retire the Snoopy Bowl already, please, and just call it a regular preseason game?
So ridiculous. Please, enough is enough with that. But I was thinking today, and I was really hoping too Mikey would be on tonight, but because he always has some crazy ones when we bring up stuff like this. I wanted to talk about what we thought was our worst 3 Giant draft picks in our memory and the worst 3 Jet picks in our memory. And why were they the worst?
Oh, okay, so we're doing picks. I had my 3 worst Giants of all time.
Were they draft picks, or did you trade?
One guy I picked was not but I'll listen. Well, this is the easy. Well, I could just replace this in 2 seconds, but I got to add one guy on here that was not drafted. Okay,
I'll be interested to hear who that is. Okay. So, who would be? So let's go 3, 2, and then your worst.
Okay.
All right. So who would you pick as number 3?
All right. So I didn't really do it this was hard to do in order, Uncle Teddy. I got to tell, because all these guys are on the same level of disaster.
Listen,
man,
I'm not making this show easy. Come on, man.
I know.
We got it. You know.
Right. I'm just going to do how I listed them.
All right.
Number 3, I'm going to go Eli Apple.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, yeah. We got a lot of good ones. Trust me. I had to pick 3. It wasn't easy. But you look at his numbers throughout his, short tenure with the Giants. He had 1 interception in 3 seasons. And every year his tackles and assists went down.
Yeah.
He was terrible, and he was lackluster. And I was so happy with that pick. I remember when they got him because they needed a DB at the time.
Yeah.
But it just turned out to be an absolute disaster. I mean, one interception. His first year, he had the interception. Next 2 years, everything started going downhill. That's my number 3, Eli Apple.
And it's funny. I kind of remember, maybe I'm wrong, but I kind of remember when Eli Apple got that first pick, getting a text from you, being all excited. So,
listen, I was one more tackle. Listen, I was one more tackle away from getting the jersey. So, trust me.
All right, my number 3, to me, my third worst Jets draft pick was Johnny Lamb Jones. He was drafted in the 1980 draft. Number 2 overall. Billy Sims, the running back from Oklahoma, went to the Detroit Lions. And then Johnny Lamb Jones was picked. We skipped, listen to this litany of players we didn't even consider because Johnny Lamb Jones was going to be so good. Wide receiver from Texas, Johnny Lamb Jones. We skipped Anthony Munoz, who went number 3 to Cincinnati. We skipped on Bruce Clark, the defensive tackle from Penn State who went to Green Bay. We skipped on Brad Buddy, the offensive guard from USC who went to the Chiefs at 11. And I think there was one more. Art Monk went 18 to the Washington Redskins. Johnny Lamb Jones appeared in 61 games total. He had 138 receptions, 13 touchdowns. And the reason he was done with the Jets, his first year in training camp, he climbed the fence at Hofstra University to go get pizzas for the guys in the dorm room. He fell from the top of the fence and dislocated his shoulder. He reached out to the guys to help him. They brought him over on the other side of the fence, and they said he fell out of bed so that he wouldn't get in big trouble. And then we find out later he fell off the fence.
Oh, my God. I forgot about that guy.
And I'm
sure you did. I'm sure you did too and wanted to.
Here's one more bit of trivia on Johnny Lamb Jones. That was the first year I had Jet season tickets at Shea Stadium. I think it was the second to last or the last game of the season against the New Orleans Saints. Nobody wanted to go. So I got one of the extra tickets, and I just happened to have started dating my current wife. I asked her to go. Of course, we're still dating, so she's excited outwardly. Inwardly, I'm sure she didn't want to go.
Yeah.
Freezing cold, snow flurries. We've packed hot chocolate. We've got blankets. Shea was a horseshoe. I'm in the last row, last seat, right field corner. 5 minutes into the game, Johnny Lamb Jones cuts across the middle. They hit him with a pass, bounces off his chest. I turned to Peachy and said, "Get your shit, we're leaving."
Are you serious?
First of all, she was so happy we were leaving.
She was probably thrilled you were leaving.
But then I also think she looked at it and said, "What kind of a psychopath is this?"
Oh, man,
so
that's funny.
So, Johnny.
God, Anthony, I didn't know you skipped on Anthony Munoz. Because I was obviously not around for that. Was he like highly touted in college?
He was.
He was. Okay,
yeah,
I figured.
He was.
Okay.
Yeah, but that was the Jets back then. That was we were the king of the. We have so many draft picks. I'm just picking the ones that emotionally affected me the most.
Yeah, for sure. I did the same thing. The same thing.
Who is your number 2 worst?
All right, so my number 2 is actually the guy that wasn't drafted, but I'm going to save him for last.
Okay.
So my number 2, I got to tell you, Uncle Teddy, I was torn between 2 guys who play on the same side of the field, basically the same position, and were equally as bad. I'm going to go with Evan Neal as my number 2 worst Giant player, not just draft pick, but player in history. And the other guy, as you probably know, is Eric Flowers.
Yeah.
And the reason why Evan Neal got the nod from me was because he was the 7th overall pick. And, man, it sucks because I think he put the work in. That's one of the weirdest downfalls, right? from college to pro.
Yeah.
Because he was, and I can't blame the Giants for that pick because he was on everybody's draft board as almost a can't miss.
Yes, he was.
Right?
He was.
I was so happy when they got him, and I can't blame the Giants for that. There's many guys that are like that too, but you know, it's crazy because again, you're not surprised if somebody is not putting in the work and you hear stories, they're skipping meetings. He didn't do any of that stuff.
No.
He was in every meeting. He was at every practice. I don't understand how he could have gotten that bad from being so good in college. Taking a drop off is one thing, especially from college to pro, it happens. But, listen, I know I'm biased as the Giant fan, but Evan Neal from college to pro is one of the steepest downfalls we've ever seen in the NFL. I mean, he went from the best lineman in college to the worst lineman in the NFL within a year.
Which is crazy.
Yeah. So Evan Neal, in parentheses, or, a little asterisk, I'll put flowers there too. He deserves it, but I got to give Neal the nod for that one.
Okay. 1990. Jets have the number 2 pick. The number 1 pick goes to Indianapolis because Dallas had forfeited. Dallas actually would have had the number 1. They forfeited it because they took someone in the supplemental draft the year before. Indianapolis takes Jeff George. The Jets take Blair Thomas from Penn State.
Mm-hmm.
Blair Thomas appeared in 51 games in his illustrious career, scored a total of 5 touchdowns, and had 2,000 rushing yards. And if you break that down, that's in 4 seasons. He essentially, rushed for like 400 yards a year around.
That's crazy.
Something like that. Now, in that draft, the pick below us was Cortez Kennedy for Seattle, who is in the Hall of Fame. I actually was at his Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Junior Seau went number 5.
Oh, jeez.
Junior Seau. Here's another one. Emmitt Smith went number 17.
The Jets missed so many players over the years. It's unbelievable.
We really did. You could have taken Reggie Cobb, the running back out of Tennessee, with the number 2 pick. He went 30, and he had a better career than Blair Thomas. So that's amazing, isn't it?
Unbelievable.
And again, Blair Thomas, everybody touted him. He was really good. They said 2 was a little high, but he was in that top 6. And, thank you, Blair.
Well, for these picks so far, for you at least, the worst part isn't even the player, because a bust can happen. It's the players you missed.
Right.
I mean, exactly. I've heard about 7. I think half of those guys were like Hall of Famers.
Yeah, exactly.
Almost all of them are, right? So, geez. Oh my God.
Jeff, well, your number 1 worst draft pick that you've seen.
So this guy's not a draft pick, but he had to be on this list. Had to put him on there because of the contract and because of how horrible he was. Let me ask you this. Can you guess who it is? I'll give you a hint. He's on the offensive side of the ball. He got a big contract.
I know who it is. It's got to be. If it's not, I'm way off. It's got to be Kenny Golladay.
Kenny Golladay coming in at number 1. Think about that. You want some stats, Uncle Ted? I'm going to give you a couple stats here.
Let me hear this.
We know the contract, $72 million for 4 years, which admittedly I was happy with because we needed a receiver.
Yeah.
He only caught 45% of his targeted passes. 45%.
That's crazy.
Less than half of the balls thrown his way, he didn't catch. And that wasn't on Eli. About 80% of those were drops, okay? I remember specifically the drops. Unbelievable. And let me ask you this. I got another trivia for you. Can you guess how many touchdowns Kenny Golladay scored on his 4-year, $72 million contract? How many touchdowns?
I'm going to say 1.
He got 1. You got it. There you go. 2. 1 touchdown, $72 million. That's so crazy. I got to say it again. 1 touchdown, $72 million in your pocket. He is, I can't say bust because he wasn't drafted, but now you see why I had to put this guy in the draft disasters of the Giants. But he's right there.
He really was a bust. He was, I mean, as a free agent, he was just a huge bust. It's ridiculous. Holy crap.
And it's not like, look, he got injured a little bit, but it wasn't because he wasn't playing. It was because he was awful. I mean, I couldn't believe when I was looking up his numbers 46%. I mean, that's just and again, most of those were drop passes.
It's just awful.
I got to throw one more in there, Uncle Ted. Got to do an honorable mention.
All right.
This is more of an emotional thing. This is more emotional. I got to throw Kadarius Tony in this mix.
Oh, young Joker.
Gotta happen.
Young Joker.
Young Joker. I got to do it. And look, he wasn't he was bad, but a lot of his, lack of production was because of injury. That's just the fact. But I can't stand that guy. Can't stand him and anything about him. So I got to put him in there too because he was so cocky and he was terrible for us. So, yeah, he's got to be at least an honorable mention. But
what's funny about him is that was also the year. Who's the wide receiver the Jets drafted? That they wound up either trading or they cut him and he went to Cleveland. He wore number 8. Oh, what the heck was his name? And Jets and Giant fans were saying who got the better pick. The guy was the Yak.
Yeah, I remember
King.
that.
Remember, he was the Yak King.
What was? Hold on. So Tony was drafted in 2001. Jets first round.
Whoa, no, not 2001.
I'm sorry, 2021.
2021. I was going to say.
Yeah, not that far. The Jets. Oh, they got Zach Wilson and Vera Tucker that year. So it must have been the next year or the year before.
It was Elijah Moore.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember Elijah Moore.
In the second round with the 34th pick, they got Elijah Moore, him and Kadarius Tony, they're now rapping somewhere or doing something. I don't know what it is, but it's not catching touchdowns for the 2 New York football teams. So
no,
ridiculous.
And then typical Giant luck. Kadarius Tony goes to the Chiefs and wins the Super Bowl. Just you can't make it up.
He hung on to the inside coattails and just ran off with it. So
he actually did have, I forget what it was. I think he had a decent return in the Super Bowl, but I mean he didn't really do anything crazy. But of course, I mean a more undeserving ring I don't think it's ever been put on somebody's finger than Kadarius Tony. So even Odell Beckham kind of deserved that one, because he's a great player. He was actually great with the Giants. They just were poorly managed.
Yeah,
and he had a good Super Bowl before he got hurt.
He did.
So I wasn't pissed off when he got a ring. But when Kadarius Tony got that, he still wears it too.
Of course he does.
100%.
Of course.
When he got that ring, not only was I mad the Chiefs won, but I'm like, the Chiefs, Mahomes again, and Kadarius Tony. I almost stopped watching football for a year after that. I was so pissed.
And they talked about Kadarius Tony like he was Mother Teresa's nephew.
Yeah.
Oh, what a good guy. He's got a great work. And he shaded the Giants. Every time he caught a pass, he would put something on Instagram, something like, this is what happens when you believe in people. Shut up, Kadarius, young Joker.
Young Joker.
Young Joker.
He's more known as Young Joker than he is Kadarius Tony. Exactly. So that's all you need to know.
Well, here is my worst Jets draft pick. And as we've said, I've seen a lot of them. The worst one, 2008. With the 6th pick in the NFL draft, the New York Jets select from Ohio State Vernon Golston.
The obvious answer was Vernon Golston for number 1, no doubt. No doubt about it.
Vernon Golston, who was 6'4", 258 pounds. I hate to say this, he reminds me of your boy Abdul Carter. In 3 years, he not started. He only started 5 games. He appeared.
He did? Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
He appeared in 45 games. He had, guess how many sacks he had?
45 games. 45 games. I'm going to say 2 sacks.
He had 0 sacks.
0. Come on.
0.
Oh. Now, you know what? I was gonna say 0. I'm like, but it can't be 0. He really had no sacks. A donut. That's just, you can't make that up.
All right.
You cannot make that up.
Tackles. Okay, tackles. We're gonna combine the solo and the assisted tackles. Okay. How many
Okay.
tackles in those 45 games total, combination, solo and assisted, do you think he might have had?
This is tough. Tackles are tough. So like sacks, I can quantify a little easier. What's the average tackles for a player? Maybe like 80 to 100 or something like that. If it's a decent player per year,
over under
45 games.
over under 65.
Yeah. I mean, I hope it's not under, but I'm going to take the under.
Okay, it is the under. It's 42. He had 24 solo, 18 assisted, and he only had 3 tackles for loss. Here's a better one for you. How many quarterback hits did he have? He touched the quarterback. How many times?
Touched the quarterback. Okay, so 0 sacks. I'm gonna say it, even though I don't think this is the answer, but I'm just gonna have some fun. 0?
1.
1. Oh my God.
1.
I gotta tell you, I think the most egregious number. I mean, they're all egregious. It's hard to pick the worst stat that he has, but he played how many games? 45.
He appeared in 45. Correct.
Okay, so he basically averaged a tackle per game, and not even, because part of those are assists. So he basically averaged a tackle every other game, pretty much. I mean,
yes.
I think a civilian off the street who has a decent athletic ability can get more than that within a 45 game period. That's crazy. That's unbelievable.
But that is my top 3 worst. I almost feel bad now having Johnny Lamb Jones on there, because he was like, to me, he was the most productive of all of them, but he's still
like, it's not that bad. It's really, you know what? It's really like, as you went on, because Vernon Golston is like the king. I mean, that you cannot get worse than that. So
he's the GOAT.
Yeah.
He's the GOAT for sure. For sure.
It's actually impressive. It's actually impressive when you think about it.
Oh, he was just terrible. And I lost the dinner bet with friends when I said that Vernon Golston, his first year, would have over 15 sacks. Over 15.
Oh, I've been there. So I've been there. I can't remember. Like I predicted so many things that were going to go wrong. I said that, Daniel Jones was going to win a Super Bowl like Eli Manning did. I actually said Kadarius Tony is going to be the next Kareem Hunt. Like I said all kinds of crazy stuff. Trust me. So believe me, we're in good. It's Listen, we try to predict it and we get it wrong a lot of the time, unfortunately.
Listen, we're the biggest shills for our sports teams. No question. If Mike was here, he would tell you every single year since I've known Mike, when the NFL schedule comes out, he's never picked the Jets to win less than 13 games. 13.
I know. Yep.
He might.
Well, we've been doing this for a couple years. He's never. Yeah.
He's never picked.
Oh, he's worse than us. Yeah.
Much worse than us. Much worse. Than us. Yeah. And you know what's crazy?
Yeah, because we'll admit, like, when we're doing our schedule and we're doing our, win-loss, we're pretty fair. I think maybe we have a couple of, like, shots in the dark. I mean, this guy has them beaten every, like, playoff team from last year and, like, beating them badly. I'm like, well, hold on. But I guess, listen, it's you got to go in, I guess, with that mentality, right? But, there's not a lot of...
It's like Mike says all the time. He even has a shirt. He says, life's too short to bet the under.
It's true.
He lives his life like that. So
it's true.
Mike, we missed you tonight. We want to make sure we have you back Monday night when we pull this all together again. Jeff, any parting words?
Hey, couple weeks of the preseason, non-alcoholic beverage, and we are almost there, and it'll be here before we know it. Can't wait.
Please remember to, you know what? Email us your top 3 worst draft picks. If you're out there, I don't care if you're a Giant fan, Jeff fan, I don't even care if you're a Buffalo Bill fan, whoever you root for, give me your top 3 worst picks. Send it to us. Check out, we have our link tree in the bottom right-hand corner. All you got to do is go to that. It'll give you all our information. This was a lot of fun, Jeff. And we'll do this again next week. Until then, have a great weekend.